What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao. Thanks for joining us for the news this Sunday evening. Local media are reporting that long-range ATACMS missiles have arrived in the country. Taiwan's Central News Agency says these weapons arrived last month at the same time as the first batch of HIMARS rocket launchers, citing sources familiar with the matter. The ATACMS missile is a long-range weapon that can hit targets up to 300 kilometers away. That would give Taiwan the ability to hit targets in China. The missile has been used by Ukraine to hit logistics centers in Russia as it defends against Moscow's invasion. U.S. President Joe Biden is set to meet President-elect Donald Trump on Wednesday in the Oval Office. The meeting is part of a tradition marking the beginning of the transfer of power between the current and incoming U.S. administrations. Trump broke precedent in 2020 when he did not host Biden after losing his re-election bid that year. Biden gave his first speech since the election last week, calling Democratic candidate Kamala Harris's defeat to Trump a setback, but he promised a peaceful and orderly transition to the next administration. The U.S. ordered chip giant TSMC to halt shipments to China of advanced semiconductors used in AI applications. That's according to a report from Reuters, which cited unnamed sources. Media previously reported that TSMC had informed its Chinese customers that it would suspend shipments of AI chips of 7 nanometers or smaller starting on Monday. The move is part of efforts to comply with the U.S. export controls on chip technology to China. It follows news that TSMC's chips sold to a Chinese company were found in an AI device made by Huawei, a major target of U.S. restrictions. China says it's launching a drive to recruit Taiwanese nurses, but some members of the medical community here are skeptical that nurses will jump at this offer. John Van Trieste reports.
China's latest push to recruit Taiwanese talent isn't in the tech field. Instead, it's nurses Beijing hopes to bring over. China says it will offer 240 positions a year to nurses from Taiwan. Nursing is one area where Taiwan is especially vulnerable. There's been an exodus from the field in recent years. But the head of one of Taiwan's most prestigious hospitals says he doesn't see China as an attractive place for medical staff to resettle, whether in terms of conditions or pay.
我们不能比差，我们要比更好的。大陆绝对不会比我们更好。你想，社会主义的医疗怎么可能会让医护人员的薪水有多高？你假如是美国或是像澳洲这些进步的国家来抢我，我倒是会比较害怕。
The health minister also says he's not concerned about nurses leaving the country en masse.
我们一直在努力哈，那最重要是健保的资源哈，是大家要珍惜。那我们会把人民的健康摆在第一位。
But this doesn't mean officials are passive. Both President Lai Ching-te and the legislature have promised to pay out more to hospitals from the National Health Insurance Fund, which might give hospitals the money to raise nurses' pay. 8 medical associations have come out together to urge the government to follow through on this promise, because Taiwan still needs every nurse it can get. Kama Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's overburdened health insurance system could see some changes as officials look to shore up its finances. With a rapidly aging society and one of the world's lowest birth rates, the system faces high demand and shrinking funds. The head of the Insurance Administration says to make ends meet, the government might need to tax more types of income, with higher earners paying more. But he also said cutting waste is a priority.
很多过去需要住院的治疗，那么现在以门诊治疗就可以。保护来讲，就是缴保费的人来讲，那也有点不公平，所以应该也要适时的做一些检讨了。
Taiwan is expected to become a super-aged society next year, when over 20% of the population will be at least 65 years old. The government predicts health insurance costs will hit almost $28 billion then. Human and labor rights groups are raising concerns about Taiwanese companies' operations in Indonesia. A new report by a Taiwan-based NGO highlights environmental and human rights issues in the nickel industry, a key supplier for electric car makers. Indonesian NGOs also have concerns about workplace safety at Taiwan finance plants, with 17 workers known to have died in accidents so far. After the report's release, even more groups spoke of discrimination against female workers.
因为印尼他们劳动契约很普遍是那种2个月、3个月以前这样子，那所以在这个情况下，我们就有听到蛮多的案例，就是女性她只要一被晓得怀孕，然后她的契约到期以后，她就不会再被所谓续约这样。
Taiwan's labor ministry says it is putting together a program that it hopes will help make sure Taiwanese companies abroad follow the rules. Driftwood is clogging the coast of Hualien County in eastern Taiwan over a week after Typhoon Kong-Rey slammed into the region. Forestry officials say around 13,000 metric tons of fallen wood has piled up on its beaches since the storm. Now, Taiwan law considers driftwood to be public property. Locals afraid of legal trouble say they are unable to clean up their land and that the government response has been too slow. The county says that if driftwood becomes an obstacle, property owners can apply for priority cleanup. Beijing has unveiled a new kind of stealth fighter ahead of the country's largest air show. It's part of China's push to build more modern aircraft to rival that of the U.S. Jaime Ocon reports.
Over the next few days, aircraft of all kinds will be taking to the skies in the southern Chinese city of Zhuhai. It's playing host to China's Biennial International Aviation and Aerospace Expo, which is one of the largest in the world. Although the 6-day event doesn't begin until Tuesday, a lot of the attention is already on China's new fighter jet, the J-35. Little is known about the stealth aircraft, which has a similar shape to the US's F-35, but China plans to use the fighter jet on its aircraft carriers as it pushes for more advanced capabilities.
隐身飞机加入空军的装备序列，标志着中国空军主干装备已经进一步的加速在向隐身方向进行转型。那么在未来作战过程中间，可以出现多种的任务组合模式。
The J-35 has yet to be publicly tested, but if it passes, China will become the second country in the world after the US to have 2 stealth fighter jets. With thousands of visitors expected at this year's expo, organizers are anticipating more than $40 billion in sales and agreements, as China seeks to make its mark in the global defense industry. Kamashu and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is racing to boost its domestic drone industry, seeking to build drones that can help defend the country against a potential Chinese attack. A drone design competition for university students is attempting to match knowledge with resources. Ado Brar reports.
The whizzing sound of drones at a university in southern Taiwan is a major attraction this month. These students in Jiai County are not working on a school project. Instead, they hope to play their part in defending the country. As China escalates its coercive activity across the Taiwan Strait, Taiwan is taking an all-of-society approach to boost its defense. Now, those efforts include a competition for university students to design unmanned aerial vehicles or drones.
台湾这个位置也可能会面临这个问题，所以我们想在这个主题上面去强化我们的无人机。那所以不管各部会都有投入资源。那我们这边是在国科会的指导下面，所以我们主要是在前瞻技术的提升。所以希望我们这前瞻技术提升能补足我们台湾无人机产业的缺口跟需求。
The National Defense Application UAV Challenge is now in its second year. Last month, 20 university teams went head-to-head in a battle of the drones. A winning drone design project could be acquired by Taiwan's defense companies and possibly end up in service down the road. Inspired by Ukraine's success in using drones in its war with Russia, Taiwan sees the technology as a key part of its asymmetrical warfare doctrine. Ukraine has developed drones as a lethal tool to take on a larger land army, but they have also been vulnerable to Russia's jamming attacks on the operator's signal. For that reason, this year's drone competition simulates a realistic battlefield scenario where jammers could cut the satellite signal to the unmanned vehicle.
战争的话，就国防应用那边的话，那可能在台湾这个地方，可能发展性会比较大一点。然后我就想说，看到台湾有稍微就是有投入一些算蛮庞大的资金，就是往国防方面去应用去砸，所以我就想说，我就跟着这趋势走。
Learning from the Ukrainian experience, these students have committed to developing drones to help Taiwan survive against an enemy with greater numbers and firepower. Conflict with China may not be imminent, but Taiwan is preparing for the day that everyone hopes will never arrive. Joseph Wu and Adil Brar for TaiwanPlus.
Huge crowds have taken to the streets of Taipei to raise awareness about wildlife conservation, especially about the dangers that strays pose to indigenous animals. Our reporter Sandy Chi was at the march.
Thousands of people are marching in the heart of Taipei, demanding for better living conditions for the local wildlife. This is the Walk for Wildlife March, which is kicking off its second annual event in the city.
Organizers are trying to draw attention to a growing problem for the country's wild animals.
那我们的目标就是想要推动生物多样性主流化。我们这2年选的主题是游荡犬猫跟野生动物之间的冲突。那之所以选这个，是因为我们其实在解决这些问题的时候，都需要各种政策还有民间的支持。但是在这个议题上，我们却比较少有共识，所以就希望能够通过这个活动，让更多人看见这个议题。犬猫问题不逃避，犬猫问题不逃避。
This year's appeal includes a proposal to incorporate dogs and cats into school curriculum as examples of invasive species, letting young children know the threat they pose to local animals.
很多中小学的老师，甚至有一些中高阶的政府官员，他其实对犬猫在台湾的现况，包括它的外来种的情形或者说它在全球各地，包括台湾，它在野外伤害野生动物的情形，那很多人对这个是不了解的。
Many attendees are here for the first time, with some parents using it as a chance to educate their children.
蛮想要让小朋友了解说我们台湾的动物的多样性，然后还有就是可以更理解这些生态的部分。Animal rights activists will continue marching down this path, making sure that the stray population in the country is brought under control and protecting the native wildlife. Alex Chen and Sandy Chi in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Dragon dancers have gathered in Taipei for a large parade to celebrate this traditional art form and to help pass it on to others. Cadence Quaranta was there.
Dragon dancing groups from all over Taiwan are parading down the streets of Taipei today, celebrating a traditional art form that dates back thousands of years. Dragons are considered lucky in much of the Chinese-speaking world, and dragon dancing is seen as a way to scare away evil and bring in prosperity and good harvests. Dancers have to work as a team to make a long dragon body look like it's jumping and playing. The dragon traditionally chases a pearl. Today, there are dragons of all different colors, styles, and sizes. The National Center for Traditional Arts has been organizing events like this one for the past 4 years, all with different themes based on the year's zodiac sign. Dragon dancers are here today because it's the year of the dragon.
我们就可以看到有高跷的龙哦，我们可以到飞龙在天的飞龙，我们也看到有灯泡的龙，也看到呢所谓的这个直排轮的龙，所以我们可以透过各式各样，让人民可以感觉到其实台湾文化的精彩，尤其是地方常民文化的精彩。
我们呢都是负责在做一个文化传承，来推广这些义政啊，因为现在我们的龙镇的龙角人数逐渐减少了，所以我们就是来推广，看能不能招收一些新血这样子。
传统技艺不能让它失传，失传的没落就没有了啊，这么没有得看了啊。
很好玩，因为很热闹。
It's a lively celebration here with kids and adults all performing together with drums and firecrackers, all here to celebrate the culture of dragon dancing. Andy Xue and Cadence Quaranta for TaiwanPlus.
Thanks for joining us for the news on What's Up Taiwan. Visit our website or grab our app to get the latest reports on your mobile device. Finally, check out this fireworks show and music performance in Berlin, marking 35 years since the fall of the wall. I'm Eric Gao. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
We bring you stories from Taiwan.
Every day of the week.
Our reporters travel the nation.
Exploring the issues that matter to you.
News from here in Taiwan and around the world.
What's Up Taiwan on TaiwanPlus.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app.